Salim. Do you have a moment? I've been reflecting on our lecture this morning about mosques as centers of civilization and education, especially after watching that documentary last week.
Wa alaikum salam, Aisha. Always a pleasure to discuss these topics. Please have a seat. What's been on your mind?
Well, I was amazed to learn how mosques in the early Islamic era weren't just places for prayer. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used the Masjid Nabawi for teaching, governance, conflict resolution, and even hosting guests. It was truly a multifunctional community hub.
Precisely. That holistic model, masjid as a microcosm of society, was revolutionary. The mosque served as a madrasa, school, diwan, administrative center, hospital, and refugee center. Scholars like Imam Malik taught in the courtyard of the Prophet's mosque. Knowledge wasn't locked in ivory towers. It was accessible to all.
But in our modern world, mosques seem so compartmentalized. Most only offer Friday prayers, Ramadan events, and maybe some basic Qur'an classes. What caused this shift?
Complex historical evolution. With the rise of centralized states, especially under the Umayyads and Abbasids, governments began funding madrasas and bimaristans, hospitals, as state institutions. The mosque's educational role gradually diminished, though not entirely. Al-Azhar, for example, remained active for centuries.
And during colonialism?
Excellent point. Colonial powers often undermined religious institutions, replacing Islamic curricula with Western models. Mosques were seen as threats to control, so their social and political functions were suppressed. This led to a privatization of religion. Mosques became spiritual retreats rather than civic centers.
But now, in the 21st century, we're seeing a revival, especially with youth and social movements. I've seen mosques hosting mental health workshops, climate action forums, and interfaith dialogues.
Yes, this is a contemporary reclamation. In countries like Indonesia, Turkey, and even parts of the US and Europe, mosques are adapting. For instance, some mosques now have STEM programs, women's leadership circles, and digital libraries. There's a growing recognition that Islam's maqasid, objectives, preserving faith, life, intellect, progeny, and property, require engagement with modern challenges.
That's inspiring. As an environmental science student, I'm particularly interested in Iman and ecology. I've read that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, planted trees and protected animals. Could mosques lead environmental education?
Absolutely. The concept of khilafah, stewardship, is central to Islam. Many mosques are now going green, installing solar panels, reducing waste, and launching green masjid initiatives. In Malaysia, the Putrajaya Mosque has a zero-waste policy. In the UK, mosques are involved in tree planting campaigns. This blends religious duty with global sustainability goals.
That connects faith to action. But what about inclusivity? I noticed that in some mosques, women and youth feel marginalized. How can mosques truly be centers for all members of the community?
A critical challenge. Historically, mosques were male-dominated, but early Islam had women scholars like Aisha, R.A., and Salama, R.A., teaching in mosques. Today, progressive mosques in Canada, Germany, and Morocco are establishing women's councils, youth councils, and LGBTQ+ safe spaces within Islamic ethical frameworks. Digital platforms like mosque apps and live streams also increase accessibility.
Speaking of digital, could mosques use technology to expand education?
Very much so. During the pandemic, many mosques transitioned to online halakas, study circles, virtual Qur'an classes, and AI-powered translation of sermons. Now we can learn from scholars in Mecca, Cairo, or Jakarta from our homes. But we must balance virtual and physical community. The mosque's barakah, blessing, also comes from physical gathering.
That makes sense. I've been thinking, our campus mosque has limited space and funding, but it does host some events. What practical steps could we take to revive its civilizational role?
Great initiative. Here are a few ideas. Interdisciplinary halakas. Combine Islamic ethics with modern topics, like climate justice in the Qur'an, AI and Islamic law, or mental health from a prophetic perspective. Community partnerships, collaborate with university departments, environmental science, psychology, engineering for joint projects. Youth leadership program, train students to lead workshops, organize events, and manage social media. Digital archive, create an online repository of lectures, local history, and community resources. Annual Civilization Week, host talks, art exhibits, and service projects celebrating Islamic contributions to science, art, and ethics.
I love those. I'll propose them to the Mosque Committee and the Student Islamic Society. Would you be willing to mentor us?
I'd be honored. You represent the future, where faith meets innovation, tradition meets transformation. Remember, the best of people are those who benefit others. The mosque can be a beacon for that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kareem. This conversation has given me clarity and hope. I'll start drafting a proposal this weekend.
I look forward to seeing it. And remember, change begins with one person asking, what if? You're already doing that.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Kareem.
Wa alaikum salam, Aisha. Keep shining your light.